And a woman wants her wedding dress back, and she's placed a sign outside of her home demanding that the thief return it. She got married in June, then gave her mother the dress to have it cleaned after the wedding. Now her mother shipped the dress back to her while she was out of town, and the bride says the package was stolen from her front porch.
I mean, my wedding was the best day of my life. Happily married now for about 6 months, and not having that, I wanted to be able to have that saved.
You saw the sign there. The sign tells the thief, quote, "Feeling guilty for taking my wedding dress? No questions asked if returned." It also leaves a phone number for the person to call, and hopefully she gets her wedding dress back. Well, it's the perfect rainy day for free coffee, and you can thank Starbucks, where you can get your caffeine fix. Plus, New Year's Eve and parties are everywhere. We'll talk about a doctor with how you can keep yourself healthy into the new year. So take a look at this one. This is snow in the San Diego mountains. A few inches fell there overnight and people are enjoying it. Now, I believe we did see some snowfall here also, Kelsey.
And we still are right now. So we could see up to 4 inches for our local mountains. And of course, in California, they're dealing with some major snow, causing all of those travel troubles. Say that 10 times fast. Up to 8 inches through Mountain Pass in some of those areas. But yeah, we're getting our own lots of fun snow, but not a good idea to
travel, yeah.
Because we are looking at some possibility of blowing snow up there as well, because some gusts up to 20 miles per hour for our higher elevations and in our local valleys as well. So breezy conditions starting to pick up as well as these light scattered showers pushing through the valley here. This is a look at the Desert Doppler. It shows why we have a first alert action day today. We want you to be prepared for wet weather and cold weather throughout most of your day today. We could see up to about 1/10 of an inch for rain for today. Watching the Futurecast models as we fast forward through the day, we expect this to be on and off through most of the day. I think later on we're looking at about a 40% chance, and right now we're looking at about a 60% chance that you're dealing with that rain throughout most of the valley. That clears out overnight into early morning on Friday. Then we'll be dealing with some more sunshine. But until then, we're looking at models differing on what they think of how much we are going to receive. Less than 1/10 of an inch for some in the valley. Mount Charleston and Red Rock looks to see most of that accumulation, but we could see up to 3/10 of an inch in some of the west parts of the valley like Summerlin. Meanwhile, if you're headed out the door, you will want to bundle up as well as bring your umbrella with you, because we're going to see those temps in the mid-40s for most locations, and we're really not warming up a whole lot from here. Summerlin at 37 degrees, and those winds will create a wind chill factor for some locations. We're seeing those gusts up to 20 miles per hour for Boulder City. Nellis Air Force Base sustained winds close to 25 miles per hour. And Las Vegas close to 15 miles per hour. Those winds will continue through the afternoon, then die down overnight and then pick right back up for your Friday. Could see those gusts up to 20 once again. Our daytime highs right around 46 degrees. We're running about 10 degrees cooler than where we should be for this time of year. Combine that with those breezy conditions, it feels really chilly out there. And the shower chance will continue through tonight with those overnight temps dropping into the 30s. So we'll see about 38 degrees. Tomorrow, we're slightly warmer, still running below average for this time of year. 53 degrees. We'll see some drier conditions and some more sunshine for us, but we are going to hang on to some of those breezy conditions. Now, that chilly air is going to linger for the next 7 days. So although we're looking at Saturday and Sunday with some more sunshine, don't let that fool you, because we are going to see those temps in the low 50s by the afternoon, dropping into the low 30s overnight. Then we're watching the next chance for some showers moving in by Monday. We're looking at about a 10 to 20% chance before it looks like that dries out by New Year's Eve on Tuesday. Overnight, you'll see those temps drop to right around 40 degrees. And, we'll be welcoming in the new year with those temperatures in the mid-50s.
All right. Thanks, Kelsey. Well, the holidays are fun and enjoyable, but if you get too carried away, you could make a trip to the hospital. Joining us today is Dr. Cole Sandrup to talk about keeping yourself healthy during the season. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yes, so tell us about it. We were just talking about how alcohol is the #1 problem during the holidays. Lots of parties, and sometimes you get a little bit carried away here.
Absolutely. So, big problem happens when people drink too much, and Las Vegas and New Year's is a recipe for drinking too much. Very often we see people in the emergency department who are there simply because they're too intoxicated to walk, or they're too intoxicated to find a way home. Happens a lot with tourists, but it does also happen with locals as well. That is a very expensive way to spend your holiday season. But you know, also with alcohol comes certain illnesses, GI-related illnesses. A lot of people who end up vomiting and having all sorts of abdominal pain because they ate or drank too much.
So basically the key here is just to know your limits.
So definitely moderation is part of the solution. If you eat less and drink less, unfortunately, that's the recipe for success in everything. But over the holidays, it certainly will help you to avoid an unnecessary hospital visit.
That's really important. Now, eating and drinking is just one aspect of the holidays, but there are also other things that we need to keep in mind here. And then there's the emotional stress that comes with the holidays too. What would be your best advice for folks who are dealing with that?
So one of the problems with the holidays also is depression, suicidal thoughts and feelings. For whatever reason, the holidays are great for a lot of people. People that have strong social support, people that have family in town. But for other people, they don't. And for other people, depression is a big problem around the holidays. Recommendations that I have, if you're having problems, if you're having thoughts of harming yourself, get help. Go to an emergency department. Call a helpline. Certainly can help save a life.
And it's always important to know that there are resources out there.
Absolutely. There are plenty of resources.
Yeah, and we were just talking about this. I feel like this season is really, really bad for the flu. I don't know if it's just me, but you were just saying.
That is correct. In fact, far worse than alcohol right now is going to be the flu. And if you go to any emergency department in this town or pretty much any town in this country, you're going to find that the majority of people there over New Year's are there because of flu-related illnesses. That's everything from cough, sore throat, congestion, fever, body aches. The real recommendation is if you've got it, just stay home. I know you want to go out and enjoy yourself, but it's not going to help. And unfortunately, there's not much that medicine can do to help those with the flu.
Right, and is there anything else that people should know? How can they stay healthy during the holidays?
Absolutely. One of the biggest things that we see is when people feel sick, they stop taking their medications. My recommendation is take your medications. If you can keep down your pills, please take them. Not taking your medications takes a bad problem and it makes it significantly worse. Also, eat less, drink less, and call an Uber.
Very, very important to stay safe, and moderation is key. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, it's our pleasure too, and we'll be right back after the break. The American Red Cross is always looking for blood donations, but the need is especially high around this time of year. The Red Cross says there's usually a shortage around the holiday season because people are out on vacation and traveling. So if you have any time to spare throughout the next few days, the Red Cross asks that you go to their website and find a donation station. The Red Cross will also be hosting a blood drive at the Whole Foods at the district on New Year's Eve. You can donate from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and just what better way to end the year than by saving a life there. And happening today, you can score a free drink from Starbucks. The coffee giant hosting a special pop-up parties every day through New Year's Eve. Today's locations are at Sahara and Rye, that's near Valley View, and Charleston and Town Center Drive. You can get a free tall espresso drink between 1 and 2 this afternoon. New locations will be revealed each day, so make sure to check the link on our website, ktnv.com, to get your caffeine fix. Now, if you had more than your share of wine and spiced cider and festive cocktails this holiday, January could be a great time for a break from alcohol. Dry January, as it has been dubbed, is a chance for your body to reset with a new year. Ditching alcohol can help you sleep better, avoid extra calories, and even save money. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention attributes alcohol to an increased risk for cancer. Much more to come on Midday, but before we head to break, a happy anniversary to the Flamingo. Today, the hotel and casino turns 73. Now, it opened on this day back in 1945. Mobster Bugsy Siegel was one of the main entrepreneurs behind the hotel, but now Flamingo is owned by Caesars. You're watching 13 Action News and live at Midday. Join us for our next half hour.
13 Action News, elevating Las Vegas, live at midday.
Right now in the Valley's only 11 o'clock newscast, an end to Trip to Strip, why RTC is stopping its ride-hailing service. And the rush to return those holiday gifts begin. The changes you need to know about about return policies. Plus, HOA nightmare. Residents complain of a towing issue in a Valley neighborhood. Hello and thank you for joining us on the second half of 13 Action News live at midday. I'm Nina Prushunkla, but here's a look at the weather right now. We're keeping an eye out on the weather throughout the newscast here. We have that video that you just saw with a snowy video from our viewer Denise. She was driving to California on the 15 south of Primm. Check that out. It's going to be a very challenging drive for a lot of people today. Kelsey, you just saw the snow out there rather. So what's the rest of the day going to look like?
Yeah, this is the type of day where it's best to really just reschedule travel plans for another day because we are dealing with that snow, winter weather advisories through California. We even have our own winter weather advisories for our local mountains. Here's a live look outside. We're just dealing with some light showers for inside the valley, but you can see this is coming from a much bigger storm system pushing through California. Could see up to 8 inches of snow in some of those spots, up to 4 inches of snow for our local mountains. Now we're dealing with some icy conditions near Red Rock as well. A closer look at the satellite and radar showing just how much snowfall we're seeing pushing through the Spring Mountains as well as Sheep Range. We're also going to see about 1/10 of an inch of rain expected through the Las Vegas Valley. As I fast forward through the Futurecast models, you can see we're not going to be done with this quite yet. By 7 p.m. that continues through those overnight hours before it finally clears out by Friday morning. So all of this wet weather in combination with that snow, that's why we have a first alert action day today. Not only that, it's going to be very chilly today. We're going to stay in the upper 40s by the afternoon, so it's worth hanging on to that umbrella and that heavy coat today. We're also going to see those winds with gusts up to 20 miles per hour in the valley. That could increase that wind chill factor. I'll have details on when we expect to see a drying out period and what to expect for New Year's Eve in just a few.
Thanks, Kelsey. The RTC is calling it quits with their version of a rideshare option for Valley commuters. The trip-to-strip service began just a few months ago, but now 13 Action News reporter Austin Carter explains why the RTC will be putting the vans out of service.
It was an initiative met with a lot of excitement and promise. But now RTC's rideshare service is pumping the brakes for good. The trip-to-strip service launched in May and made use of the already existing RTC stops on the Strip, extending to the M Resort, McCarran Airport, and the Convention Center. RTC says trip-to-strip moved more than 600,000 people during the 6-month pilot program. However, they are ending the service due to monetary limits at the RTC. I spoke to then RTC CEO Tina Quigley, who was hoping the system would compete with the likes of other rideshare options like Uber or Lyft.
Continue to be relevant and significant and a mode and a true choice for our constituents in Southern Nevada, then we need to be piloting things like this and testing.
Despite stopping the service, the RTC says that the program provided them with useful information for the future, including that people are willing to ride and that area businesses outside the Strip corridor are interested. The ending of trip-to-strip also doesn't mean there wouldn't be something similar in the future. RTC says it could consider a similar program. Austin Carter, 13 Action News.
Today is the busiest day of the year for gift returns. Americans will return $95 billion in gifts this year, but you may have to rush to get what you really want here. Several stores have changed their return policies. ConsumerWorld.org says Best Buy, Walmart, Apple stores, and Target, and also Macy's have all tightened at least a part of their gift return policies. At some stores, you only have 15 days to return an item. The big problem here today and tomorrow, you'll be battling crowds, so if you'd rather return gifts in your pajamas, well, some stores offer free shipping for online returns. Even though Christmas is over, you can still get some great deals because stores will start clearing shelves to make room for new electronics, which means we'll see heavy discounts on current devices and video games. Gift sets and clothes will also be marked down as stores make room for the new season. So good news for those of you who love shopping. Homeowners associations are supposed to make things easier and better, but a hardworking family reached out to 13 Chief Investigator Darcy Spears, claiming their HOA is making their life harder, targeting homeowners' cars using predatory towing tactics.
In Las Vegas, for most of us, our cars are absolutely necessary, so we need a safe place to keep our rides when we get home. But some homeowners tell us their community design has turned their neighborhood into a parking prison.
It's ridiculous, though.
It makes you feel unsafe in your own neighborhood.
I know multiple people out here have their cars towed.
Stressful, exhausting. You know, we were up at 4:30 in the morning thinking that our truck just got stolen.
In May, Crystal Bigness and her family bought their house in Tricino, an HOA community in Mountain's Edge.
We've always parked one vehicle in the garage and one vehicle here, just because our vehicles are so long, we can't put both of them in the garage to close it.
But one late October night, Crystal was in for a serious scare.
And then all of a sudden one night, our truck was just gone.
After parking it for months and months and months?
Yes. No
Across your own
notice, no
driveway.
letter, no nothing. It was just gone.
Their truck was parked at the end of their driveway, between the red lines of a fire lane. Some say homeowners should know better. However,
the red only extends about halfway up the street, and then you've got other neighbors here who clearly have two-car garages.
Yes.
But it's okay to park a few feet up the street, just not here.
That I couldn't explain that to you.
making things more confusing,
there are signs posted on the street that say no parking beyond this point. I'm standing right behind one of them. Can you see me? Probably not, and that's because the sign is completely obscured by a tree. That's the case for both sides of the street.
Crystal's house is on what's called a stub street. Space is so limited that half of the block is designated a fire lane.
I couldn't even sleep the other night.
13 Investigates has reported on this problem repeatedly, where communities of densely packed single-family homes are not designed with enough room for parking.
I've had my own vehicle towed from the front of my house twice by my HOA, and it's extremely frustrating.
The county approves building permits that allow developers to build these parking prisons. We asked Crystal's commissioner, Justin Jones, why.
Look, I think that there's been some mistakes made in some of the higher density communities.
Jones says filling the need for affordable housing in the valley is an ongoing struggle.
My primary consideration as the county commissioner is not making sure that home builders or developers make more money. I don't particularly care about that. I do care about the fact that people who live in my district or want to live in my district can't do it right now because they're simply priced out of the market.
Higher land costs mean more houses need to be built in the same amount of space just for developers to break even. But for homeowners,
it's kind of stressful because there's only so many spots you can park, and everything's in red.
Parking at the end of the driveway was common practice at Tricino. Mike Morphus was towed twice.
I was actually getting the kids ready for school one day, and I was inside not even 15 minutes, came out, my truck was gone.
As you're trying to leave for school?
Yep.
Wasn't parked out here all night?
No, just parked out here to get the kids ready, and that was it.
No notice, no advanced warning?
No.
Both his and Crystal's cars were towed legally, according to the Nevada Transportation Authority, because even the end of the driveway is included in the fire lane, so advance notice is not required by law. The HOA contracted with Ashley's Towing for removing cars. Ashley's points to the signs and red curbs, saying people need to take responsibility.
Section 10 and Section 11.
Jones says the situation is bad for everyone involved and agrees more disclosure could help.
This is something that HOA boards simply need to work harder on. Even if you're going to enforce a on-street parking regulation and you have the authority to do so under your CC&Rs, give people an opportunity ahead of time before you're going to do that.
A board member told 13 Investigates the HOA is revising its towing strategy and may consider refunding the towing fees to the homeowners. We've also confirmed Ashley's Towing no longer works with Tricino, but we don't know why.
I don't know, and it makes you want to leave the area. You know, it makes you want to go somewhere where they don't have an HOA.
Tricino HOA and its management company, RPMG, declined an on-camera interview. They provided a statement saying they adhere to the policies and procedures in the HOA's governing documents. Darcy Spears, 13 Investigates.
Up next, she was responsible for huge music hits from top bands and musicians.
Do you remember?
From Earth, Wind and Fire to Patti LaBelle, they're celebrating the life and friend Allee Willis. More on her major accomplishments. And here's a live look at the New York Stock Exchange right now. It looks like the Dow is up 52 points.
Rain and snow continues for Las Vegas and our local mountains. I'm tracking just how much rain we expect to get and when we expect to dry out coming up.
Well, we've been showing you conditions in the Cajon Pass in California. This is video from earlier this morning. It's been really snowy out there. Now, the 15 south of Primm is also closed due to snow. California state troopers say cars are getting stuck on the highway. So if you or your family are traveling through the Cajon Pass, you may want to find an alternative route or delay your travel. Not a good day to be out there, especially out on the roads. Hopefully everybody stays safe.
And today is supposed to be one of the busiest holiday travel days as people are headed home after Christmas. It is creating a huge mess out there, but just watching that video, it's clear it's not something you want to drive in.
Absolutely.
And where there isn't snow, there's rain.
Oh.
So there's a whole lot going on right now. I wanted to show the Desert Doppler to show what that's bringing to Las Vegas. We're just looking at some light showers for the valley, but we do see a winter weather advisory in effect for our local mountains.